back friend zones. I feel like it shouldn't be frowned upon. I think having a friendship with a melanated woman is not shouldn't be frowned upon, but like you should look elsewhere if you actually want something. You want something to happen. You can always look elsewhere. You know, I don't think it should be frowned upon, but yeah, it hurts. It hurts. The woman you want say, hey, nah, you're just a friend. It's like, oh, say I'm just a friend. That song was crazy.
That was my song.
Man.
Yeah, yeah, it does hurt. Rejection, definitely doesn't feel good, but I'm a firm believer in that rejection is your protection. Um, and that what is meant to be for you will never miss you. Um, you know, your
Yeah,
gift is coming. That's what I tell myself whenever I feel as though I've missed an opportunity or I've been rejected.
yeah.
Wouldn't it have been great to have been constantly reminded of that as a child? Well, actually, I don't know. I can't speak on your childhood fully, but like, I think we would cope with it better if we were reminded of that. And I just don't think that that is happening a lot in Black families.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like even to tie it back, I feel like some fellas might put, good women that they're not, necessarily attracted to in the friend zone too, or but they can build chemistry. But I don't know, it happens too. It's like, nah, I'm not feeling you, Shaniqua. It's like leave me alone. It's like, but yeah, do you feel like becoming a friend or having that environment, like friend lover, is important in functional relationships from on y'all standpoint? Like, have y'all had that friend and then y'all develop something in y'all relationships?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I had to think. I was like, huh. Yeah.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
I think men should look into that because I feel like I might have rushed in a couple times and it's like, all right, it bit the bullet. All right, it's like, all right, so yeah, and then sometimes I think I seen a post like the biggest joke in life is when you find the right person in the wrong time, like that, and you could be in a relationship with someone that ain't for you, and you could meet somebody else. Like, damn, like I vibe with her, but I'm with her. It's like,
There's never a wrong time though. That's the thing.
okay.
Because what is meant to be will always be. You could have met this person when you were at 18, connected with them, didn't quite work out, went and got another relationship. That didn't work out. 10 years later, you run into that same person and it's like, this was meant to be. I had to experience those other people and learn the lessons from those other people so that we can come back together and continue to build and grow as a unit. So I don't think there's ever a bad time or a wrong time for anything. I think everything's exactly as it should be. We just stand in our own way because we want it to be how we want it to be when we want it to be it.
You feel like we live in unrealistic, sometimes in our own minds, like we unrealistic how a relationship function or the type of person that actually good for us, you feel?
Sometimes, yeah. I think the universe, God, who you pray to, I think they'll test you. Or not even test you, they'll test you, right? Mm-hmm. I think it's so many times where we say we want this thing and it's given to us and we're like,
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with you. Or you're like, I wasn't ready. Or I don't feel like I'm ready. I don't feel like I'm there. Or you're like, oh, this is not what I wanted because this is not giving me peace, right? And then you just have to learn those lessons. So yeah, I think we can be very unrealistic at times. Even, I'm going to speak for some women. We can be unrealistic when it comes to men's salaries, right?
Mm-hmm.
If Kevin you get Savage. Really...
You be right sometimes. Hey, brother, hey, he 50. I don't agree with anything he says most of the time, but when he hits, he hits.
Right. And it's like, if we get so caught up on that, which I have done that, get so caught up on the salary, the figure, you become unrealistic. It's not to say that you can beat. We're looking at average human beings, and we look at the average or the median income for Black men, Black women. If you look at these things, you'll see that what you're thinking is unrealistic because a lot of people are not walking around with 7 figures. Yeah, go ahead.
50% makes 40,000. Like, yeah, like that number is crazy. And then 1% or 5% makes 100,000. Like, so that's just people. I ain't boxing into us, melanated. That's just people, period. Like, so the numbers tell us. And it was one thing. It was one video I was checking out. Some woman divorced her husband just off the strength that he didn't have a great job, but he was a great man, great father, took care of the house, but divorced him because she wanted more. But he was a good man. Like, so you divorced him because he didn't have a great job, but he loved you. It's like, dang, that's crazy. And she's single now. Like, single now. Like, you know, she talked about him, dogged him out. He's like, damn, that's crazy. Like, I don't know, it's crazy.
I feel like that's it. That situation gets a little tricky. It's a kind of a gray area because for me, I'm looking at what my partner creates in his world as an individual. I'm looking at, is he innovative? Is he resourceful? Like all of those things matter to me. So I won't say salary is a huge factor, but I do feel as though it plays a part. It's reflective. It's reflective of where you are in the world that you create for yourself, you know, and I pay attention to that.
Yeah,
I do.
I feel like, absolutely. some people's salary, like, I feel like if they keep the lights on and they're a good man, you know, they keep food in the refrigerator, like, keep him, like, all right, he's not a 50K a year, but you can build with him. He can create a business with you. You can grow with him. Or he's a Mr. Fixer, man. Like, I help him start a business. Like, be a partner. Like, you can't leave him because you don't like one thing about him. Like, oh, that's crazy. But he got.
You should have never married him, though.
Right.
He never married him. Like, exactly. Like,
because you knew what type of man you were dealing with in the beginning. You knew that you probably weren't dealing with a man who is that resourceful or that innovative. He's content.
He procreated with him.
That's on you, girl. That's on you.
And the most valuable currency we have is time, man. You know, so she put all that time in just to like, but yeah. And I think that kind of ties into my one of my last questions. What love have to do with it? I feel like past relationships, I realized my grandfather, I feel like they got love. They eventually developed love. But first, like, they got married at a young age, 14. I don't know if someone at 14 knows what love truly is, and I feel like she probably could. And I think security.
Where they do that at?
Where they from?
Oh man, Arkansas, man. Salute to the family, man. Arkansas, man.
Little Rock in the building over here.
Liveville, man. Represent. Hey. But yeah. So married at a young age, and I feel like they developed love, and they probably even, 14, she probably loved him, off the rip. Like, he provided an environment for her to feel comfortable, and I feel like that's what the type of relationships was back then. Because my other grandmother, same situation. He provided an environment, took care of things, paid the bills, paid everything off, and just rocked in his chair, didn't say nothing. Didn't say much. But what y'all feel about that? What, I guess, do love matter? Do you feel like we like I don't know. Does love matter? Or what love have to do with it if we have loyalty? Is loyalty better than love? I don't know.
Loaded questions.
I'm loaded Lux.
Okay, I'll go. I think that love has everything to do with it, because there are different definitions of love, and I see love as an action word, and I think that means that you create this understanding between the two of you. You recognize who you guys are, what you bring, and what roles you play in the relationship. You have to establish these things, and that has all the world to do with it. Because if I know my role in this relationship and I know yours, we can always address what the issue is, and we can keep growing and building a solid bond or a foundation. I think I'm glad you mentioned, like, our grandparents and people who got married in olden times, if you will. I think a lot of people love to look at them and they do deserve respect and admiration for their relationship, but that was a very different socio and economical time. And I have heard actually several men in the last year refer to older times. And I said to myself, why do they keep doing that? And I think it's because it's nostalgic for them. You know, my granddad, they saw their granddad as a man. He was able to be this caretaker, provider. He didn't have to speak much. But that was the times. They had an understanding of what worked for them during that time. And now we're in a different time. And so we have to create roles and rules that work for us in this time. So, and that's love.
Do you feel like we, in this phase, in this time, we're developing, do we have an understanding of a functional relationship like they had?
Were their relationships all that functional? I'm sorry.
I was going to say, what? No, I was going to say, was that functional?
Exactly.
You have to ask them.
It was a lot of but hey, grandpas was moving. That's all I say.
I do respect them. I think they provided, because my grandfather, my mom's dad, he didn't have more than an 8th grade education, barely that. But guess what? This man worked his ass off. My grandmother, she eventually started working, but she didn't want for nothing. She didn't even drive until he died, right? He did everything, right? But she did everything. They had an arrangement. Now, when I was a child, I admired this relationship. I still do in certain ways, but I eventually learned that my grandfather was an avid and chronic cheater and a gambler, right? And those things, all of the kids knew, all their children knew. And so on one end, they're looking at this man taking care of his wife, but he's not taking care of his wife, right? And it's so easy to leave out the bad and get set on the good. And we need both. We have to take a look at history from both sides. So I don't know that we have the best idea or example of a fully functional relationship.
Yeah, that's definitely true. You know, they was built different. You know, they wasn't faithful out here. Like, you know, it was a thing. Like, yo, but you know,
We know who the baby daddy was.
Hello.
Like, because I ain't gonna just put it on the man. The women was out there getting theirs too, having little Bobby saying it is Daryl's baby, but it wasn't Daryl's baby. It was John's baby down the street. But you can't prove it because modern medicine didn't exist.
That's a Chris Rock joke. Like, men lie more, but women tell the worst lie. He got your hat. He got your eyes. Like, nah, he's not mine. He's not mine at all.
Exactly. Just to piggyback, no, I totally agree with everything L.C. just said. As it pertains to love, and I always do this, and it sounds super cliche, but I think it's important for both parties to love themselves first and foremost. That way, you know what it is that you need, what is required from another person. You know, you have to have that self-love component in there so that you can build a solid foundation, so that you can communicate what it is that you want, how it is that you want to build and grow with another person. I think that is love, like loving yourself and coming together and merging that love together is everything. And it's work. It's a lot of work loving yourself. And if you don't love yourself and you sitting up here trying to be in a relationship and trying to build something with another person, good luck to you, honey.
It's gonna be rough.
It's going to be extremely rough. So I just always advocate that everyone really take some time to heal, love themselves, get very clear on what works for you as an individual, and then begin to implement certain things that allow you to radiate and exude what it is that you want to manifest into your life. So that when that person comes into your life, you are able to communicate, like, this is who I am, this is what I like, this is what I desire and require. And then you all meet and it's up from there. At least that's how I imagine it to happen.
Yeah, I mean, and I feel like even in good things, men still cheat. You know, we've seen it too many times in the culture.
Well, Okay, yes, we do have some cheaters, but I think it goes back to communication because maybe some men aren't necessarily monogamous.
Exactly.
And it's a matter of that man knowing and loving himself enough to say, I feel as though I want to be with more than one woman.
Yeah.
Say that.
Exactly.
You love yourself enough to say what it is that you want.
Yeah.
And if it works for these women, live your best life, bro.
Exactly.
You know? But when the lies come into play and when you don't love yourself and you living in fear, you just gonna create a bunch of chaos for everybody, including yourself.
Midlife crisis be happening. That's when midlife crisis for most men. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I mean, but
not
it
love.
happens for women too. And it's like you said, it's work, it's choosing. It is choosing to either uphold your vow or it's choosing to come back to the table and say, babe, we need to talk. And that's scary. Like it is scary, but it's like it needs to be done because there are couples that have taken trips together and they're like, listen, we need a little fresh meat. We're about to go to the DR real quick. You look good. You still look good. I still look good. I love you. But we about to go. Or hedonism. You know, there's a resort in Jamaica where it's like a swingers resort. Like, I'm not saying that everybody's going to want to do that, but still having the conversation, you never know.
Yeah. Exactly.
You gotta love yourself enough to even be able to process that stuff within yourself first, let alone let someone else know where you're coming from with it. Like, listen, I spent some time with myself. I realized that this is how I feel. This is what I want, and I'm going to communicate that with anyone who wants to be in my life. Period. Point blank. That's love. That's self-love. You know.
Definitely, yeah, men, fellas, yeah, stop getting in relationships if you're not meant to be with one woman, and find that out, man. Astrology can teach you ain't meant to be with one woman.
Women too.
Oh, yeah, women too. They
stop getting in these relationships with
a lot of masculine energy out here. It's like on both ends.
Why I gotta be masculine energy though? Why I can't just be energy? Like not everybody wants to be with one person. And I also believe people get in these relationships and they just not sexually satisfied. I'm gonna just say it. You're not sexually satisfied and you end up cheating because you was never sexually satisfied to begin with. And you think like, well, her personality, she seems like she'd be a good mother, you know, she's good this and good that. So, you know, no, dude, don't be pressured into no relationship because she has, I know the 80-20 rule is real. It is, but that 80 matters. If sex ain't in there for you and you know you likes to get it in a certain way, in a certain fashion, and she's not into that, you need to walk away, bruh.
And then on the flip side, I feel like, hey, teach a king how to do it properly. I don't know.
Or communicate it before you walk away. It's not always a quick, and I need to take my own advice. It's not always a matter of just quickly walking away. And this is something that I'm learning on my journey, but communicate that. And then if your partner is like, okay, I understand where you're coming from. I love myself enough to be open to you exploring or having an opportunity to fulfill your desires, then like that's beautiful. I ain't seen it happen yet, but I know that there is a couple out here who is good at communicating because they both love themselves. They're both confident within themselves. They are able to figure things out that works for them in their union. And kudos to y'all. But I think it's possible. It's not always throwing a person away.
Yeah, I've done that, B. I literally went to my dude and was like, I'm not getting what I need. And at first he gave me that man macho thing, like, I ain't never had no complaints before.
I feel like it's like emotional. You know, I feel like it's a different experience for y'all versus men. You know, exchanging scarce energy. I break it down, and you know, sex. You know, I feel like it's a different experience. I feel like it's more mental and emotional for women versus men. I think it's a physical aspect, but overall it's a spiritual aspect overall to exchange energy. And of course it's, you know, it meant, you know, just for offspring purposes, you know, you're supposed to do that just to have a seed, you know, but hey, sometimes, but yeah, it's important.
Yeah, so important.
I could go on and on, but I'm not.
It's so important. So what's love got to do with it? Everything.
Everything.
But if he's a good man, the sex, I mean, teach your brother how to,
I tried that. And but you know what? I was able to walk away. I didn't want to just walk away because I really liked him. And at first he was very macho about it. And then he was like, okay, he was a little more receptive to it. But we realized it was just a matter of physiology. Like, he just couldn't actually do what I needed, right? But I'm glad we were able to at least have that conversation instead of me just, like he said, just walking away, leaving him hanging. Because I never approached it in a way to harm him or scorn him. I literally just wanted to tell him, this is how I'm feeling. This is what my body is feeling. Because I feel like he deserves that kind of transparency.
Yeah.
But and we were able to acknowledge that, all right, this just doesn't work. So you should do that.
Definitely. I think accountability is one of the factors in relationships that I think keeps things functional. Communication. I don't know, being realistic too. I feel like that keeps things, but what's some other factors y'all feel that keeps relationships functional and keep them to keep evolving?
I think. Go ahead, Elsie. We about to say. I'm the type of guy. I love an adventure. I love being creative. I think for me personally, spirit has to be involved. You have to know your people. You have to be in tune with your folks, and you have to be actively healing while on your journey. I think you said everything else: communication, self-love. I'm going to always throw that in there. You have to love yourself. You ain't loving yourself, how the hell you gonna love me, and vice versa. Yeah. But yeah, those things are extremely important for me. Adventure, knowing that spirit is definitely within our union, and communing with spirit together is also very, very important for me. Yeah, that's my answer.
Yeah, I would only add patience. That's the only thing I would add is.
Oh,
that's a good one.
In this day and age, like, she ain't text back, man. What's going on, man? It's like, this environment creates that you got to be patient, man.
That's a good one, Elsie.
Because we are literally, think about it, guys. Since we were born, we have been streamlined to rely on instant gratification. Since we were born, the moment of electronic microwaves, right? Toasters, like as basic as food, things that TV dinners, things that we could have so quickly, right? And then we went into cell phones, we went into computers, went to all these things that just taught our brains that. And humans, no matter how smart, clever, intelligent we are, we still function at a very specific pace. We can only do so much. We're not machines.
Exactly. Yeah, man. Cooking might, take an hour, but you throw down, make a good meal. It was worth that hour it took to cook. It's all about patience.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Patience, understanding, compassion.
And
sensitivity.
Yeah, to break
sensitivity, vulnerability.
For the men,
sometimes we can't be vulnerable, man. some use it against us. Like, hey, what? I told you that, in confidence. I was crying to you and you laughed at me. What you laughing at? I feel like
it goes back to that.
We're scared
it goes back to that self-love thing.
Yeah.
When you love yourself, you're more open because you know yourself. You don't give a fuck.
Yeah, facts. Break down love, life's only valid expression, Yeah.
Damn, that was good.
Positive energy activates constant elevation, man. Peace. It's we gotta keep the peace, man. We gotta find that balance, positive energy. Yeah.
Honesty. Did we throw that word out there?
What you say?
I don't know if we did actually. Honesty.
At least I would like that. Please, let's.
Do y'all
want to be honest with each other?
Hey, fellas, I don't know if fellas can really be truthful, man. I don't know, man.
Why?
We gotta sugarcoat some stuff, man. The truth will hurt y'all.
But you got, I think some men have to learn how to speak, like you can't just approach I get that. I don't want you to always have to feel like you have to filter yourself, but you can tell me the truth without just boom chopping my head off. You know what I mean?
Man, the truth is a gut feeling. So it comes to the heart for y'all. We gotta edit it. We gotta check it. Like, yeah, she wouldn't receive that right. And then it comes to the brain to edit. So yeah, now I can deliver it now. Like,
right, patience.
Gut. Yeah.
Have the patience to do that. Love her enough to do that. That's where it comes back to love.
Yeah.
Have that love. If you want this woman, you want to lay down with this woman, you want to marry this woman, you want to procreate with her, have the patience to deliver things to her in a way that she understands. Just as we as women do it to you guys. We have been trained since birth to nurture you guys.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that they don't train you guys to do that as well. But you, as a man, have to get to a point where you say, okay, I'm going to go against the status quo because I love her.
Yeah, we've been programmed to just protect house and, you know, provide. And that's it. You can't cry, man. What you talking about crying? What you doing? It's like that's foolish. Yeah, things need to change.
It does. Because I think people always say, I don't want a man who cries. I don't want him crying all the time. Okay, nobody wants anybody who cries all the time. That's called an unstable human being.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
But if he cries at appropriate moments, I was with a man for 2.5 years. I never saw him cry. I said, something is wrong with you.
That's true. Hey, he got his stuff is clogged. Hey, I had a day. I got some crying problems. I cry every blue moon, but this is one film I didn't cry to. I laughed instead. This is a film called City of Angels. This film, I mean, I just got that sense of humor. I'm gonna laugh at stuff I find ridiculous. So the whole movie they was going back and forth. I ain't trying to spoil it for everybody, but the whole movie they was going back and forth. And then when they could actually be together, to see the ending, it's laid out, and that's all I tell. This is laid out on the bike. Like, yo, what? So it was foolish, man. The ending was stupid.
But you laughed.
Yeah, I laughed instead. Like, yo, you find this dude, you got him, you in a relationship with him, and you get hit by. She wanted to ride a bike on the just the road, open road, not paying attention, just free. She let her hands go. And then the truck was right in front of us. She's like, "Oh, you let your hands go." It's like, what you doing? Free riding on a bike, and that's how the movie ended. He was left. Like, yo, wait, I finally get to it. Now she died. Yeah,
that's fucked up. But I can see that. I think that's fine to have a sense of humor. It's just also knowing when it is appropriate. You can cry. I feel bad for Black men. You can cry. I have an Uncle Bone. That's a masculine name, Uncle Bone, because he bad to the bone. And he cries at important events. He cried when his granddaughters were born. He cried when he saw me graduate. And he's one of the most manliest men I know. And I think it's because he's able to juggle those things. He's able to be vulnerable. And I want that kind of man.
Yeah, my father, he's a gym rat. Got all the muscles in the world. At church, he'd be the first one to cry. Like, hey, what's going on? What's going on with Pop, man? It's like, yeah. But yeah, see, I think it stopped. She haven't joined back in yet. But
yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely it's been conscious and crazy. Definitely been a bit conversation, man. Definitely needed, needed to be having our community.
Absolutely. I really think in a world that is committed to breaking us up as Black people, yeah, we need it.
Yeah, and I guess for the people, once again, for the conscious of crazy audience, for the people, closing points of how they could find you and just who you are and what y'all been doing and where they can find you, your platforms, and yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm L.C. Frazier. I have taken a step away from a lot of social media platforms for the time being, just to, kind of recalibrate, recenter. But I'm typically found on Instagram as LC_Frazier. And you can find me on Facebook as well as LC Frazier.
Yeah. Again, my name is B. Nicole. Super grateful for this opportunity to connect with you all. You can connect with me on my website, www.rebelassemblage.com. You will find herbal soaps and botanical bath salts and jewelry and clothes and virtual events, all types of things live there. And you can find me on Facebook, B Nicole, BEENONICOLE, Soul Rebel.
All right.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, this has
Thank
been
you.
Conscious is said of Conscious of Crazy. IG Conscious said Con Science D21. It's a wordplay thing, you know. I got bars, but but yeah, definitely appreciate the conversation. Needed to have and needed to still be had, you know, to have a functional environment, community, and all that. Definitely appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right.
Peace.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace.
All right.